What is up, guys? We are back with another awesome film. In Seattle, Will and Sam, a lovely couple, are at the hospital for a checkup. Sam is pregnant and she wants to know the gender of their baby because the suspense is just killing her. After a little hint from the doctor, they found out that it's a boy and that he's doing okay. They're currently looking for a good house in Seattle since they recently moved there. But that's not all, as Will has to go to Chicago to meet with Sam's father, Tom. Things are already complicated between them because Will wrecked Tom's boat during their last meeting. He's trying to ask for Sam's hand and his blessing for a shotgun marriage, but Tom doesn't even know that Sam is pregnant, and Will needs to hurry before that water breaks. When Will arrives at Tom's place, he receives a warm welcome from Paula, Tom's wife, but Tom is too excited to see him. He even had the nerve to ask Will to help Paula in the kitchen. Tom is a retired Marine who's received a lot of medals for serving his country very well. But one conversation leads to another, and Will ends up talking about the boat. At dinner, Tom offers to financially help them find a house just like he did for Sam's brother, Steven. But feeling offended, Will tells Tom that he's making good money and can take care of his own family. And things start to heat up when Tom says Will moved to Seattle to take his daughter away from him, but Will confesses that moving was Sam's idea. Before things get any worse, Paula announces that it's getting late and tells Will to go. The next morning, while Will is at the airport hotel, Sam calls him and tells him that he's late for his flight. Then we hear something from her side of the phone, but before she can give him any details, the network breaks and they get disconnected. He heads down to the airport but discovers that all flights have been cancelled. Then in the news, he hears that there are power outages and telecommunication outages across the western part of the US, but nothing is Will goes back to Tom's place only to find them packing their things, and Tom is already prepared to leave for Seattle. His plan is to leave Paula at Steven's place and head to Seattle with Will now that he's here. Will thinks that this is temporary and wants to head to the airport, but Tom convinces him to go with him. After seeing some F-22s doing some flybys, Will makes up his mind. But once they hit the road, there's a huge traffic jam and roadblocks everywhere. Call services and GPS are not working, and the only thing that's functioning is a short-range radio. They stop at a gas station to fuel up, but while Tom heads to the store to find supplies, Will runs into some trouble. Two guys were about to wreck their car, but Tom comes in for the rescue. They wanted to rob them, so Tom says he has money, which he claims is in the trunk. He then pulls out a gun and scares them away. But Will is not happy that Tom is carrying a gun, so Tom explains that if they had taken their car, it would have ended their journey too soon. Besides, he says that the gun was not loaded. They then reach the highway, which is closed for safety reasons, but Tom, being the persuasive guy he is, convinces the officer that he was a Marine and understands the risk he's taking. When they hit the highway, it's totally empty, even the trains have stopped running. At night, they reach a maximum security prison area, and just when they think they're safe, they get pulled over by a cop car. Will steps out of the car to talk to the officer while Tom keeps a watchful eye. But hold up, Tom notices the guy is not really an officer, and before they knew it, the guy is trying to shoot Will. Tom then drives straight into him and a high-speed car chase ensues. Tom tells Will to load the gun and shoot at the car while they're being chased, and they finally lose the guy after Tom smashes him with an abandoned car. They quickly drive away and take a detour off the main road, turning off all their lights so that the guy can't see them. But when they turn on the lights, there's a deer on the road and they crash into a tree. Will is only scratched, but Tom has a fractured rib. And if that's not enough, the guy finally catches up to them and he tells Will to get out of the car. But out of nowhere, Tom sneaks up from behind and knocks him out. They then tow their car with the police car and head to find a garage. And the next day, they find a garage and ask for help. The mechanic, Ricky, agrees to help them for some cash. You see, Ricky always wanted to leave her hometown and go to California, and she could use this cash to make her dreams come true. Later, as Tom was washing up, he notices his wound is not looking so good. And Ricky has fixed their car, and Tom offers her $1,000 to go with them so she can fix their car if it breaks down again on the road. But Ricky is hesitant to go with them cause these guys look shady as hell. I mean, come on, they come with a police car with no officer towing their car and they're injured. Who wouldn't be suspicious? I would. But after an honest request by Tom to find his daughter, Ricky agrees to go with them for $2,000. And so they pack up all the necessary parts needed and leave. Tom carefully tapes the taillights to avoid being noticed from the back, and at night, a car is behind them, so Will pulls over and gets behind them once they pass. Suddenly, another car from the opposite lane crashes with the car they were following, and they head out to check for any survivors, but there's only one and he's severely injured. Tom refuses to help him since he won't make it to the hospital, and another car comes along the way and they stop to check out the crash site, but Tom, Ricky, and Will leave. While refueling on the road, they notice a strange storm cloud and they hit the road in a hurry. It's only been 2 days since the incident, and these guys have already done more crimes than they did their whole lives. Then we see a showering rain like never before coming, and it makes it impossible to drive. Tom then decides to quickly hurry to a bridge and they pass the storm under it. In the morning, Will leaves the highway to get supplies from his friend's place, and Tom reluctantly agrees when he hears that they're Sam's friends too. Their car gets stopped at the town's entrance by a joint force of police and the townsmen, and Will talks to the sheriff and manages to get through them. But a truck is assigned to them to make sure they come back. When Will goes to his friend's house, he learns that his friend is missing and only finds his wife there. They fill their water jars and leave the area, and since there's a random heat wave all over the country, they made the water a priority. Later they come across a water park and head there, and Ricky, excited that she found a pool, jumps right in, but the water was too hot to bathe in. They then split up to look for supplies and gas. Tom looks tired as the injury is getting worse, and Will offers Tom a hand to carry the gas. That night, they get a phone signal, and Tom gets a 2-day-old unfinished message from Sam. They then see a group of people evacuating from a fire. They go through the fire and stop there to help a lady with a flat tire, but they get ambushed by a group of men holding a knife who end up taking their supplies and gas, leaving them high and dry. Will quickly gets everyone inside the car and they follow them, and on the chase, Will hands Ricky the gun and tells her to shoot at their tires. After a few shots, she manages to shoot the tires, leading to the wrecking of the car. They quickly take back their gas and fall back just before the car explodes, and both Ricky and Will stand there shocked by the events that just took place. At dawn, Ricky gets very emotional as she has now killed people for the first time. 3 days ago, this girl was just leading a normal life, and now she's taken 3 lives. And both Will and Tom try to calm her down, but she refuses to go any further with them. They wanted to give her some time to take a rest, and in the morning, they were forced to continue as Ricky has gathered her things and left. Tom, who was injured before, is now in the worst shape he has ever been. The guy's pretty strong for an old man, but we all have our limits. Later, Will heads to check a train wreckage for gas, but Tom falls down and needed medical attention right away. Will runs to him and inserts a chest tube to prevent his lungs from collapsing, and this buys him time and they continue their journey. On the road, Will tells Tom that it was actually Sam who wrecked his boat that night, and that he just took the blame because he felt it was the right thing to do. And Tom tells him that he already knows that Sam is pregnant with a baby boy, and then tells Will that he's a good person and that he's gonna make a good father. That night, they reach the San Francisco Bridge, which is heavily guarded by armed people. The people offer to help them if they can bring the car in, but if there's one thing this journey has taught Will, it's to not trust strangers. He makes a clever escape from them as they shoot and chase him with motorcycles. But they are soon trapped at both ends, and Tom comes up with a plan to shoot their way out of one end, which goes really well for them. But this is the very last thing Tom experiences as he dies from his injuries holding his gun. Will continues to drive until his fuel is depleted, and he burns Tom's body along with the car and continues his journey alone. In the morning, he gets lucky and finds a man traveling with his family and joins them on the way. The man tells him that they're heading north to Canada, then Will leads the family to his father's house, which is on their way. When they reach there, the house is empty but is in good shape, and it has food and running water. Then Will makes them a deal and offers that they stay in his father's house in exchange for their car, and they agree, and Will drives off. Will finally reaches Seattle, which is in ruins and covered in ash, but he then finds an ambulance and takes some breathing gear from there. When he heads to his house, he finds it completely destroyed, but he finds a message written to him on the front door. It was Sam telling him where she was at, and he goes to the address that Sam wrote for him and finds her there. She was staying with their neighbor Jeremiah this whole time, and she hugs and kisses him on the door, but Jeremiah's not really thrilled to see him. And that night, Jeremiah shared his weird opinion about what this disaster is all about, saying that they're living in a simulation and that all this is happening because of a virus in the system. He's a software engineer, so this is the only explanation he can come up with. This upsets Will, especially after what he'd seen and done to get there. Then Jeremiah asks Will to see his pistol, and after seeing that it was not loaded, he compliments it and returns it. In the morning, Will sees Jeremiah checking out his car from the window. He heads down to him and asks him what he's doing with his car, and Jeremiah replies that there were two kids who were messing with it and that he chased them off. He then takes Will to show him the kids and the perimeter he set, and from here we can understand that he was lying. And on the road, Will tells him that he and Sam are going north and asks him if he wants to join. Jeremiah is upset as he believes that he deserves a say in their decision as he has helped Sam all this time and he thinks that they now share some kind of bond. But then, Will sees Jeremiah preparing to shoot his gun, but just before Jeremiah could draw, Will shoots and kills him. And as our movie wraps up, he sees something big coming, and the couple rush into their car and leave, and we see a huge volcanic earthquake closing in on them very fast, and that's where our movie ends. I hope you guys enjoyed this recap. Make sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. I love you guys so much, and I promise to see you on my next recap. Bye.